Give some perspective on President Tinubu's speech and as well as counter the cost of the nationwide protests and economists. Yushu Aliu, you're always welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, you've heard the president, and with what we have seen today, would you say it has yielded the desired impact?
There is a communication breakdown between Mr. President and Nigerian youth for two reasons. One, Mr. President is trying to tell them the economic success recorded and also his determination to bring the economy working sustainably. But what is on ground is a situation where people are misguided. They are misguided by Nigerians. They are not well informed by Mr. President. And that situation is not going to produce a better result for all of us. Remember, I have highlighted that we are facing cost of living crisis. And if you are facing cost of living crisis, hunger will emanate, other things will emanate. And the situation that is on ground now is that youth cannot understand Mr. President. Youth wanted to hear something from Mr. President, which obviously they will never hear that one. I want to open it clear to Nigerians that Nigerians were hoping that Mr. President will just come back and say that we have bring back subsidy. That scenario will not happen. And
but even if it happened, will it make any impact?
It will not even happen. So the essence of even bringing an impact is not there for two reasons. You know, when Mr. President on May 29 pronounced the era of subsidy is gone, I have called the attention of Mr. President that there should have been a procedure to that. And now Nigerians are holding him responsible for bringing hardship to them, but it is not him. It is the PIA, Petroleum Industry Act. And that is why jumping into public statement.
But yeah, some people argue that we could have done better in terms of implementation.
In terms of implementation?
Implementation of the, just as you said, PIA, then you talk about the
No, you must understand PIA before
yes,
you understand the strategy to implement PIA. There is PIA implementation to oil producing areas. There is PIA implementation to investment. There is PIA implementation of social engagement. And that is why today the PIA was signed into law in July 2022. And that was when the era of subsidy is gone. And the President Buhari managed the situation from January to May with about 3.1 trillion. And Mr. President Bola Tinubu supposed to have explained to Nigerians.
But mind you,
yeah,
from information out there, it's somehow partial removal. It's not a complete removal of fuel subsidy.
Mr. President pronounced subsidy has gone, whether partial or not partial. That is a public statement that the public are holding Mr. President responsible.
So now how can Mr. President fix this?
The simple issue. There is hunger in the land. Inflation is high. Unemployment is high. And these are just the reason why the youth are protesting hunger. So, and if you address that issue of hunger, you make way for peace. For instance, youth cannot understand 20 trucks given to state. 20 trucks, each truck is carrying 600 bags. 6 times 20 is 12,000 bags of maize. And if you give that one, it is not for 1 month, it is not for 2 months, it is not for 3 months. And it will not address. So the issue...
Then there's also the issue of 570 billion given to states as well.
570 given to state.
We're yet to see the impact.
Buhari has been giving bailout to governors, and that bailout has not produced result. So 570, it is not expected that 570 to solve problem of hunger. Remember what is on ground now. Like I told you, we are facing cost of living crisis.
Yes.
There is no food. People are telling Mr. President that there is food, there is enough food. But what I always say is that any community you are, if you are to empower all the household in that area to go to market and buy food, food will disappear. People are not buying food, and that's why you are seeing food. So, and what I am always trying to show, Mr. President is a listening president. If you check the waiver that he has given for the import of agricultural input and food, there is no any relevant action taking place so far. And that is one. Two, our borders, I have been shouting for a very long period that since 2014, Nigeria doesn't have enough food to feed its teeming population. Even at that particular time when our production was stable, when inflation was stable, Nigeria still import to augment.
We've seen different policies by different
and that is why we have this protest today. Is you know, when you take long, you are not addressing the right issue. You are being misguided. Nigerian population has increased. Purchasing power has diminished. Unemployment has increased. Bureau of Statistics has shown us in 2023 that over 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just before you continue, before we continue this conversation, I would like us let's just see the state of the economy.
Okay.
Thank you for staying with the NTA. Well, and we apologize for that mix-up. Well, we're having a conversation with Yusho Ali, an economist, on the recent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech on addressing the challenges in the country. You were saying, Yusho Ali, there are issues of cost of governance as well, which was raised by most of these protesters. What do you make of this particular issue?
You see, with the large sum of resources that is used for our preparation, about 28 trillion, 28 trillion is a good figure to bring change to this economy. Cost of governance, of course, it is high, and there is need to reduce it, but also we have to be considerate to look at the large size of this particular nation called Nigeria. If you are sitting somewhere alone and you have never visited parts of Nigeria, what you will assume is that one minister of agriculture can coordinate agriculture in Nigeria. It's impossible.
So how many do you want us to have?
No, at least there should be a minister of agric, there should be a minister of agric, there should be minister of state of agric to address different aspects of agriculture.
So this arrangement is not working then?
No, the arrangement is not working because there are some aggregate, macroeconomic aggregate that are not going well in the economy.
What are those macroeconomic?
Food inflation at 44.67%. How can you be producing food in a nation and food inflation is higher than any inflation? And you expect people to have their purchasing power to go to market and buy good food to eat? How do you explain a situation where you have multidimensional poverty affecting over 133 million Nigerians out of probably 200? These are some of the parameters that you look and you check and you now see whether you are sustaining it or not. How can you now take interest rate at the rate of 26.65%, for instance, and then expect manufacturing to be growing in Nigeria? Look, if you are to encourage FDI to come, why can't you protect the local economy? Why is our industries collapsing because of high interest rate?
But the idea of the interest rate, I thought, is to address the issue of inflation.
Yeah,
And now it's actually hurting growth, which we know. But we can't have it both ways, can we?
you see, it's a two-way situation. You cannot be changing monetary policy rate in 30 days because that cannot give you the adequate result that you experience, but
actually, it's not coming in 30
have.
days. It's coming, I think, almost like two months.
No, it's coming in 30 days from February to July. MPC has changed the MPR by above 700 basis points.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, the first month, I think after a month we had a change. Then after 2 months,
Mala Abdul, how can you change MPR by 400 basis points? What are you looking for in terms of FDI?
So now, what should we do with this? What should the president prioritize?
What we have been trying to avoid,
Mr.
President is addressing the youth who are protesting of hunger. And then the only solution to what the Mr. President is saying is how to curb hunger from the youth and give and provide job and incentive for them. And we have said it. If Mr. President use his magnanimity and remove waivers for food to come into the economy, let us facilitate it faster. Because
do we have a quick fix in this situation?
Yes, we can. How can we be exporting crude oil and we are producing 1.6 million barrels, and then we cannot refine 650,000 within the economy? These are the indices that are causing all this chaos. Assuming what Mr. President has been done earlier, you sell crude oil in Naira term to a local refinery, and local refinery refine it and transport it and distribute it in our local currency, definitely prices will not be changing. And that is why I say we have to be more hesitant. We have to expedite action to make sure that we have the supply of food, and we also have certain incentives that will bring succor to the large number of families within the economy.
Thank you very much, Yusho Aliu. Well, it's an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
I believe we'll continue to talk and see how we can address this particular issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.